Emmy Mack, welcome to CHASM Converses.
Thank you so much for having me.
I am so excited to have you on. I think you've been mentioned about 3 times in 3 separate episodes of this podcast. So the fact that you're actually now here with me is quite surreal.
What are people saying behind my back? Who do I have to shank?
No, very, very good things. I think it was our good photo man friend Josh McCauley.
Oh, Joshy.
Yeah,
Such a
Josh,
legend.
Felicia Desson from Connections. They had a gig recently, actually, which looked really good.
Oh, sick.
And obviously Luke Gagnon a couple of weeks ago because you were on his band single, which was just amazing.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, so stoked with how that one turned out. Hey, it's yeah, such a tune.
Yeah, I was absolutely bewildered by that. Well, I mean, a lot of people would know you as the frontwoman of the band Redhook, which is obviously just amazing, and we'll get into that obviously a bit later. But I would love to try and just start up talking to you about yourself personally and what sort of started you on your own kind of musical journey from just starting off wanting to be a musician, getting to where you are now. Like, is being a vocalist and being the front woman of a band something that you always wanted to do, or was it something that you kind of just fell into?
I can pinpoint the exact moment when I decided I wanted to be in a band. I was
Oh,
always like one of those nerdy, like kind of theater kids when I was in high school. I was in all of my school musicals, and I was in
yeah,
like the vocal ensemble and all that shit. But
yeah.
the moment that I sort of discovered heavy music, and when I say heavy music, I entered the party in I started in the 80s. I
Right,
wasn't alive in the 80s, but
right.
I fell in love with like Guns N' Roses and
Yeah.
Metallica, and
Mm.
so I was just like big into like metal and hair metal in particular, like Skid Row and
Yeah, right.
fucking
Nice.
Kiss and all those bands. And
Sweet.
at my year 12 high school assembly,
Ah,
I'd chosen to do Sweet Child of Mine by Guns N' Roses for like my HSC, and me and 3 of my mates from music class like got up at our farewell assembly and played it, and impromptu our entire grade just like ran out of the seats. It was like a seated assembly, and just started moshing in front of the stage, and
oh, what?
I'd never experienced anything like that because I'd never even been to a rock show at that point. I think I'd I don't know, seen
Wow.
like the Black Eyed Peas and like the Wiggles and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I was like, this is the coolest shit ever. This is the best feeling in the
Jesus.
world. I want to do this for the rest of my life.
That is incredible. You got a cool school. I played at my
I mean,
year.
they were way cooler than I gave them credit for.
I played bass for in a band that I was in for 9 years at my assembly because we started in high school and we played like a Coldplay cover and everyone just stayed put. No one got up.
I mean, look, Coldplay does tend to have that effect on people, which is
Exactly. I
fine.
know.
It's
I think
fine.
most people didn't
You
really know
know?
what they were saying. They were like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah. You're not gonna like start throwing down in the pit and breaking ribs to Coldplay unless there's,
No, I mean
maybe
Violet Hill is a
something a
bit
little
more
bit
of the
wrong with
Violet
you.
Hill is a little bit more of a upbeat kind of one, but even so, it does make a lot of sense. But that's incredible. That's so cool. Yeah, that's just wow. And so I guess from then, did you just sort of start doing the vocal lessons and that sort of stuff and just sort of start to bridge your way into the scene or find bands and
Um,
stuff
I
or
I wish I could say that I had vocal lessons.
Hmm.
I don't. I'm just kind of. I mean, I probably still need vocal lessons, man.
I do.
I just kind of learned. I just kind of learned by doing.
By doing
And
it.
I probably do it wrong. Kind of
Oh,
like I kind of feel like the Happy Gilmore approach.
yeah.
It's just like I do it this way, and it's probably really wrong, and it's really bad technique, but
Yeah.
it works for me.
That's yeah, no, I can relate to that as well. I can relate to that as well. I jumped in and out of vocal lessons and stuff because I mean I'm expensive and all the rest of it as well. But yeah, I was always very kind of similar in that respect too, especially with screen vocals and trying to learn all that kind of stuff. That's
Oh
really
yeah.
fascinating because I have a question for you later, which is probably the one that I've wanted to ask the most, but I can't ask it just yet because we're not quite there yet. But
Ooh,
either
ooh,
way,
a little teaser.
a
Okay.
little teaser. Yeah, no,
To be
exactly.
continued.
Yeah, yeah, no, absolutely. So did you from that sort of stuff, did you kind of just start as I said, sort of joining bands and trying to find the band that you would kind of be in, or was Redhook that first band that you kind of just grew all together with?
Yeah, so Redhook kind of rose from the ashes of my first band. I've only ever been in two, and one of
Right.
them's Redhook, and it kind of also a fun story. But
Mm.
yeah, my first band was an 80s inspired metal band. I just wanted to be
Cool.
Axl Rose.
Yeah.
It was just like just Wayland blues and notes that are just like probably way too high for
Very
me
high
to
pitched.
even.
They're like,
Yeah,
ah,
I don't know if I can do it
that
now.
kind of stuff.
Wow, like that
Yeah,
kind of shit.
definitely.
Cringe, but fun. Look, I don't regret it. I'm not ashamed of it.
No,
It's who I am, and I still like, you know, I still have a real soft spot for that kind of music. But
100%.
yeah, we were very much like that band who just played a lot of shitty pub shows,
Mm.
a lot of just like crappy local shows, and every time, you know, we'd play, it'd be like, fuck, are there actually going to be people there, sort of thing.
Yeah.
And essentially never really got anywhere
Right, right, okay.
until and then it was weird. So just so I had my guitarist was like this crazy shredder, like he was insane.
Mm.
And he moved to Melbourne, and we tried out a few different guitarists to replace him, but nobody could play his shit. So we were like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, well, we're just gonna have to like evolve
Mm.
out of sheer necessity. And then I started working with my very good friend and producer Stevie Knight,
Mhm.
and he was like, "Yo, hard chat. This shit you're playing isn't very cool. Why don't you just start listening to this other kind of music and just like get some inspiration from that?"
Mm.
And then yeah, it just and that's how Redhook came to
Wow,
be.
really? I love the hard chat. That's like a cool way of saying like
It is
serious
a
talk.
hard chat. And I
Yeah.
mean, that's not to say that that kind of music isn't cool. It's just the way that I was doing it wasn't very cool.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, right.
the
Okay.
spandex pants and the you know, teased hair
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And
wasn't my
were you
finest
guys doing that all
era.
in because you're from Sydney, aren't you?
I'm from the sunny coast of New South
Right.
Wales.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. So like
But
and yeah.
I moved to Sydney around the same time that Red Hook kind of started to spawn.
Yeah, right, and sort of become one in itself. That's really cool though, the
Mm.
fact that, you know, only two bands, but then like similar members from those bands and stuff. And you guys would spend like obviously so much time together then from that band leading into Red Hook and then obviously going as far as you have kind of gone. Like you guys would just be like absolute mint together.
Well, I mean, like, so none of the current members of Red Hook were in that old band that I'm not going to tell
Mhm.
you the name of because I don't want anyone to Google it ever. I
That's
think
fine.
I've scrubbed the internet of all evidence, but you
Yeah,
never know. It's the internet.
absolutely.
Um, but yeah, look, there was a long, like several years, I don't even know how many years, like a solid maybe like 3, 4 years in between those two bands.
Right.
Um, of just beating my head against a wall, trying to figure it out, you
Hmm.
know, going through like having members come in and out like a revolving door who just weren't on the same page, didn't really get it, or like
Yeah.
weren't really committed, or like, you know, different issues. And
Right.
it just felt like it was kind of never going to happen.
Right.
So when Red Hook finally launched, it was just me and Craig, and we didn't have a band. Like we didn't
Right.
have a full band, and it just we'd been sitting on our first couple of singles that we released,
Hmm.
um, Minute on Fire and Paralyzed,
Hmm.
specifically, the masters had been sitting in my Dropbox for like at least a year, maybe
Oh,
two.
yeah.
Um, so we were just like, fuck it. Like it's now or never. Who
Yeah.
cares if we can't play shows, or if we get show offers, we'll just get mates to like come play with us. We're just going to release these fucking songs.
Yeah.
And we did, and then all of a sudden we got booked on Download Festival UK, and everything just went fucking batshit crazy. So
Yeah. Bloody hell. Oh, that's awesome. And especially from the fact of just like sometimes even if it doesn't look like you're ready, you just gotta do it. Like if you don't have all the components of everything that you kind of need, sometimes it's like, well, if it feels like it's right, even if it doesn't look like it's all right, you just gotta do it and just throw it out there and see what happens. And
yeah, sometimes
sometimes,
you gotta take a punt. And like we
yeah,
hustled hard. Like you know, with those first couple of singles, like, you know, we had no team. It was literally just Craig and
mm,
I. There was no one else.
yeah,
And like we got advice from all the people that we know in the music industry who are friends with us, who
Yeah.
are a lot smarter than us, and just like took their advice and
Yeah.
yeah, just worked really, really hard. And then we definitely were playing like shows, or like at least like bigger stages than we probably like. We were kind of shit like when we
Right.
started out because we hadn't had that experience. So that's the one, I guess, like the one downside from
Yeah.
things going crazy before you kind of like road ready is, I
Yeah,
think a lot of
true.
people probably saw us in the early days. They're like, oh, this Redhook band's really hype. Oh, kind of shit live. But we're definitely better now. We're a
Yeah,
lot better now.
yeah. I mean, you need to like sort of like get used to everybody and like, as you know, sort of find your footing and stuff with those first couple of shows. I mean, every band's almost kind of like that, you know. And then obviously you've got that little like the voice in the back of the head, be like, man, I hope some people show up to this show and I'm not just playing to
Oh
like
yeah,
4 people and the sound guy. That's always a hard thing to go through, but that sounds incredible.
totally.
But I guess, and like, because you guys obviously you've released heaps of songs and that sort of stuff, and when I did live back in Adelaide, I think I saw, well, I mean, I wasn't able to see you guys in Adelaide, but I'll get to when I first did see you guys. But for now, I know that like when I was in Adelaide, I think you guys were coming around every like 3 months or something because Josh would just be like at another one of your gigs taking photos. And I'm just like, man,
Yeah,
these guys just keep coming back and traveling around, all the rest of it. Like, are you
boomeranging
just
back.
very like, do you just like love that on the road sort of thing, just going to different states, playing shows in different cities and all that kind of stuff?
Totally. Yeah. I mean, touring is so much fun.
Mm,
Even when it's hard, it's
yeah,
still so rewarding. And I just love yeah, any opportunity to like catch up with our fans and yeah, like hang with
yeah,
them. It's yeah, one of my favorite things. It's probably the most rewarding thing about being a musician, I think.
yeah,
Um yeah, we just like, man, we were just like, fuck, like, we just want to make a go of this. So there's ain't no slowing down.
of course,
Especially
yeah.
like coming out of COVID. We were just like, fucking nope.
Mm,
All right.
yeah.
All fucking systems go, baby.
Yeah, that's the hardest. I mean, obviously, that was like a curse and also a blessing for so many musicians because, like, you know, majority of us had to try and find, you know, a job or just stay in our normal jobs to just make that money. But then, as well as that, and we couldn't obviously find ways to go and do songs and travel and tour to places and play gigs and stuff. But then it did give us a lot of reasons to write songs and a lot of reasons to stay inside and like work on our
Amen,
craft and
brother.
stuff. Mm,
Totally. I think
100%.
we all had a bit of an existential crisis during that 2 year
Yeah.
abyss
Oh,
that
a
was
hundred
COVID.
percent, 100%. I'd love to talk to you about the most recent Download Festival because that is the first time that I saw you guys when you came over here and played Download. I was in the crowd and
Wait, you're in the UK.
yeah, so I'm in London right now.
Oh, and I was like, why is he talking to me at 8 p.m. at night? That would make sense. All
Yeah, you
right.
know, it's 11 o'clock in the morning over here. So
Dude, so you were at Download.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So Download Festival was
Oh
the
hell
first
yeah.
big festival that I have been to in my life. I've been to, you know, a few in Australia, like Unify and Soundwave and stuff like that. But Download was the first big one where it's like, you know, everyone from Europe just comes in and
It
like the
was
United Kingdom.
motherfucking huge.
Yeah, it was
That
just insane. I've never been around that many people in my life.
I know. Social
Absolutely
anxiety
crazy.
through the roof.
Yeah, exactly. But you guys played in I can't remember what the stage was called, but it was in the big like sort of tent area.
Yeah,
And
the Avalanche
yes,
stage.
Avalanche. That was it. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. So that was my first sort of time seeing you guys play, and it was just like insane. Like it was so just so good. I could not believe my eyes. Um,
Oh,
one of
thank
the
you.
main question I was going to ask you from earlier, which is from right now, which I've written down. I had this question in my mind for ages. I literally was thinking of this while I was watching you, but like
Oh, I'm nervous. I'm
yeah,
nervous. What's the
no, it's
question?
okay. But no, honestly, like you guys have such obviously versatility in your genres, but then on stage, your presence is so just hyper and just like animated. Like you're running around, jumping up and down. I saw you do the big knee slide about twice, running to the crowd in the middle of the mosh pits. People are running around,
Oh,
circle pitting around
I've
you.
ruined so many pairs of pants, man. Not in like a in that way. I'm
Oh,
like,
the piece
look,
of
I'm wearing one
fun.
now. Like the knees are all
Oh, damn.
ripped from all the knee
Yeah,
slides.
the big slides. That's insane. Like what? And but the thing about it is that even though you guys are doing all that stuff, you still sound just incredible. Like you all just sound still just great. Like there's no like bad notes coming out. There's no like scream that isn't hitting its spot. Like it's all still just going so well and so just like perfectly. Like how did you sort of like what are the sort of the fundamentals that you have to sort of bring that across during your performances? Like I mean, I've jumped up and down stage before and done some screams and stuff, and then I'm out of breath and I'm like, oh no, I just missed that last bit. Oh well.
Oh man, well, thank you. First of all, because I'm always worried. Like, I just have so many shows where I'm like, oh fuck, I like went too hard and got out of breath and like probably sang like shit.
Yeah.
So thank you. I'm so glad that you enjoyed the performance and it sounded good.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's kind of a balance because I feel like this is something that I've thought about a lot and had conversations with like my manager with a lot because that was one of the things he said to me like when we were first starting out. He's like, I'm like, I love how much effort you put in and like how hard you go on stage, but
Mhm.
like the vocals are suffering. Like you like I never sing as well on stage as I do in the studio when I'm just standing still. But the
Right.
way I
Okay.
see it
Mm.
is like I mean, I could do a much better vocal performance if I
Mhm.
just stood there,
Yeah.
or if I had a little bit of restraint. But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, like if people want to hear me sing pitch perfect, they can listen to the songs. Like I'm again, like
Yep.
fucking my past. We've spoken about my past.
Yes, of
I'm just
course.
like, I love, like, it's rock and roll, man. Like, it's,
Yeah.
I love like it when it's a little bit, who gives a fuck if it's a little bit rough around the edges, if the
Yeah.
vibe is there, if you're creating an experience for people. And I really believe that, like, with all of Red Hook shows, like, I'll be mortified if we
Mm.
played a show and someone walked away going, well, that was boring, or like,
Yeah.
you know, it's just like you want to give people something more than what they get from the record. You want to give them an experience. You want to give them something that they can watch or something that they
Mm.
can participate in and feel a part of.
100%.
So I choose to value that
Yeah.
over having perfect vocals. But
That's
to answer
wonderful.
your question, though, I went off on a massive tangent. I'm sorry, I've wasted a
That's
bunch
that
of time
was
ranting.
that
I do
that's
that.
still an amazing answer.
I'm glad. But yeah, I think honestly, like it's really just practice.
Yeah.
Like, cliche answer, but
Mm.
just because I'm so used to it now, and because we've been on the road so much.
Mm.
Um, I mean, I'm not like a fitness freak or anything. I don't like
Mm.
gym very often.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, I've just done, like smashed a set so many times and just had to kind of find a way to still be able to sing and still like go as hard as I want to. And I'm
Yeah.
a bit more restrained than I used to be. Like I've been
Right.
exercising a level of restraint. So
Okay.
still finding the sweet spot. But
Yeah,
yeah.
no, that's a wonderful answer, honestly. And like even with the live show stuff, like I couldn't agree more. Like, if someone wants to hear you sound absolutely perfect and whatever, like that's what the recordings are for. You would touch those vocals up and all the rest of it. If you go to like a live show,
Melodyne,
that like
baby.
yeah, that like raw energy is like that's what a lot of people sort of get around and what they really sort of they feed off that. And it becomes that
Yeah.
experience, especially for us as musicians. I mean, my touring life is very, very minuscule to the point like maybe like maybe 5 or 6 times in Melbourne, once in Sydney, very, very small. But then
Oh,
like,
don't talk yourself down, man.
but even
More
so,
than
I
most
can,
people.
yeah. But even so, I can agree that like when it comes to performing on stage, like you want to give people as much as you can because most of the time you've been sitting in a car for the entire day, or you've been flying and sitting down. So
Exactly.
it's like, well, for the hour or the 30 minutes of a set that I've got, I may as well be like using as much energy as I can because I haven't really used any of it all day. So
That's it. Cardio, baby.
yeah,
Some people
exactly.
go to the gym. We just do a half-hour set.
Yeah, exactly. And that's
And I think,
funny
do you
enough.
know what? I would
Mm.
love I would love to do a science experiment
Right. Okay.
where we measure like how much someone sweats, how much the average person sweats in the gym
Mm.
versus how much they sweat on stage, especially if they're in a room that isn't aircon.
Oh yeah, for damn sure. Absolutely.
I'd
That's
be
a
interested.
yeah. That's a really good idea. I would love to put that experiment on in the Crown and Anchor in Adelaide on like a 40-degree day. I did that
Crank
once.
is the perfect
Yeah.
venue to test this theory.
That was a sweaty show. That was like a couple of years ago, but that was like, oh man, I felt so gross.
Oh, yeah, you're like, "I need, like, 10 showers, hose me the fuck down."
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah. Another thing I'd love to say, like mention about Download, obviously, like, it was my first time seeing a massive festival away from Australia in another country. And the thing that I absolutely loved, I mean, there could be more Australian bands there than what I saw, but seeing you guys, Stand Atlantic and Polaris, and just seeing the amount of people that went and saw all of your sets and like just knew all the words to your songs was just it just made me so proud. I was like, man, you guys, the three of you guys, I mean, as I said, there may have been other bands from Australia too who played that show that I may not have seen, but the fact that you can go to another country on the other side of the world, like, 27-hour flight from where like we respectively live, like to see all these people singing your songs and getting down to your music just must give you one of the greatest feelings in the world about being a musician, surely.
Oh, like without a doubt, without a doubt. Like that show was just insane. It was one of my favorite shows ever. It was a whirlwind. It was a fucking whirlwind. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's I couldn't. We went out there and like the size of the crowd, like there were people like spilling outside that tent. It was
Yeah.
insane. And yeah, much the same with like Stat and Polaris. It's just it's so cool, and it does kind of annoy me a little bit in the sense that like overseas there's so much appreciation for all the talent coming out of Australia right now. Like so many like of the interviews that I did when I was over there, people were like, what's in the water in Australia? Like there's so many amazing bands. And I know that people in our community and our scene like know what the fuck is up and like appreciate it. But it's kind of annoying that so much of the rest of the country just has no idea
I know.
that there are all these amazing artists like Polaris and Stat who are just like conquering the world.
Yeah, I know. It's one of those things where it's like if you are like a younger Australian band or even just an Australian band in general, and you want to just you want to explore and go out and play to people all over the world, like it seems like such a limitable thing to do is like go to the UK and play a show or play things or whatever. But the thing is that those people are so respectable to bands that are good, and as you say, the really good talent coming out of it, that like they will become fans, like they will be hooked on you if you are good. So it's like it might cost you all the money in the world, but at the end of the day, you would if you play a good show with some good bands to a good lot of people, there's a very good chance that all those people will like listen to your stuff, follow your page, and you're gonna have like a reason to go back and play for them again. And they'll tell their friends, like they will word of mouth tell everybody about you.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. Word of mouth do still be a real thing. Yeah, it's so true. And what was I going to say? No, I've forgotten.
No, I was like,
it's probably just another rant.
Possibly another rant. But I'm sure it'll come back. If it does come back, interrupt me and start. Okay. Even so, but I would love to ask you as well. Like, I mean, obviously from download, even just playing shows and all the rest of it, because you guys are at a point now, as you say, you're playing in front of so many like thousands of people and all that sort of stuff, going into new cities and new countries, playing to new people every single day. Can you really sort of like, do you really feel that appreciation that you're at that level now where this is actually happening? You can play to new people every day, and they are, especially people who don't know who you are, and then they can just listen to your music, become fans, and you get that appreciation from them to yourself. Like, can you kind of really be in that moment these days now to sort of have that effect on everybody?
Oh, I mean, I hope so. And that's something that like especially with the live show, that's something that we kind of pride ourselves on, I guess, a little bit, or something that we aim for. Is like, for instance, like past 3 months, like we went on tour supporting the Smashing Pumpkins, and then we went on tour supporting Stan Atlantic, two very, very vastly different bands. But I feel like Redhook occupies this kind of unique space in, I guess, the heavy music spectrum, where because our songs are so like, we do have such a unique spread of like a
very
wide spread
versatile
of sounds. You can put us in front of like these different bands sort of crowds, and we can hopefully, I think, like convert fans.
Absolutely.
That's I mean, like that's the goal anyway.
Absolutely.
That's what we hope to do.
Have you had some like real nice experiences in, like, as you said, opening for Smashing Pumpkins, like meeting some of your like favorite musicians that you like have like, influenced you growing up? Like, have you had like some of those really cool moments?
Yeah.
Maybe.
I don't have time to tell you this story. It's I was so excited to meet Billy Corgan. I was and he was lovely. He was so nice.
Yeah.
But then I think I accidentally like might have offended him, or like started to speak.
Right.
Because so what happened was, like, his social media person snapped a photo. We were talking to him, and like she snapped a photo, so we like got a photo.
Sweet.
And then I posted it on my Instagram being like, Emmy Mack smiling politely, because it's like a
Yeah.
Simpsons reference.
Yeah, that's
And
it.
I like my whole, like, if you know me, like 90% of the things I say are Simpsons quotes.
Oh, we
So
would
it's
get
like
on like
perfect.
we would get on so well. Same as
Yeah.
that's what the
But
majority
he
of me and
like,
my friends talk about as well.
oh, amazing. Amazing.
Mm.
I think, tell me like you grew up in the like early 2000s without telling me.
Yeah, I know, no. And that's like Homer Police is like one of my favorite like ones as well. He's got the cannonballs in the chest. Like, yeah, that's one of my
Oh,
favorites.
dude, it's iconic. So like, yeah, and so this post that I did, like someone screenshotted it and put it on a Simpsons meme page on Facebook, and so it
Uh
like blew up. And then anyway, then a couple of like days later, someone tags me in this video, and it's Billy Corgan on a talk show, and he's talking about meeting me, and
oh
but
shit.
he's saying like, he's like, yeah, I'm like this girl, and she posted a photo with the Simpsons quote, and I just didn't know if it was a diss. Like, are you? I feel like I shouldn't be putting on an American accent because he's gonna think that I'm making fun of him again, but I'm not. But
It's
he was
hard though when
looking
you're
to
trying to embody the person though. I do
I
that
know.
too.
I'm just getting in character. But
Yeah.
he did it. He was like, basically, I don't know if this is a diss. Are you excited to meet me because I'm Billy Corgan or because I'm on The Simpsons? And I
Oh
was like,
wow.
come on, Billy, man. Like,
Yeah,
obviously, I mean, you're an icon.
exactly.
You know, one of the most iconic songwriters of all time. Like, I
100%.
was so excited to meet him, but it was just like the perfect opportunity to make a really cool
Yes,
Simpsons
yes. It
quote.
was
Like,
not a diss, Billy Corgan. If you're listening, it was not a
it
diss.
was not, you're
100%.
not,
We love you.
yeah, Billy, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'd probably do it again. It was worth it.
100%. No, no, I love that whole like, yeah, as I said, me and my brother, we grew up on the Simpsons heaps. I think my favorite thing from that one is like, I think was it Peter Frampton or who's got like his pedals and he's like, do you feel do you feel oh come on, do you feel?
Yeah.
That's my favorite thing.
Oh my god. I
Actually,
was the one
yeah.
with it. Oh, sorry, no, I'm not gonna take this down a Simpsons quoting rabbit hole because we'll be
No,
here
no,
all
no, no,
night.
no. I will say there is one more thing that I was gonna throw in because I did realize this. So, like, me and my brother. I mean, my brother's actually a massive fan of yours as well, and he actually
Oh,
has a Lord of the Rings tattoo on his chest, which says, I think it's the
sick.
Bilbo quote of those who wander aren't always lost, or something of that nature.
Yeah.
And apparently, you're a really big Lord of the Rings fan.
Oh, massive nerd. I went to my high school formal, like dressed as an elf.
Wow,
So,
really?
and like, my best friend and I taught each other like the Elvish alphabet, and we would write notes to each other in Elvish in class. So if the teacher
Wow.
like snatched it and went to read it out loud, they couldn't read shit.
Oh, that's so good.
So yeah, I'm a virgin.
What?
Um,
Oh
I don't know what sex is.
no.
No, dude, Lord of the Rings is badass. Like, it's so good.
That's
Anyone
hilarious. That's
who
great.
disagrees is lying.
No, no. I mean, I Return of the King came on the TV the other day, and I was going to watch Notting Hill for the sixth time, but then I thought I might just watch like 30 minutes or so of Return of the King, and then I'll watch that. But you can't just watch 30 minutes of Return of the
You
King. Like
can't.
once you're in that world, you can't get out of that world. You got to go through to the end.
Exactly. Dude, I had like all of the extended edition box sets, and I watched all the special features, all like
Wow,
18 hours of them.
that's
Oh,
incredible. Even the
I
Elvish
didn't have
thing,
a lot.
like
I didn't have many friends growing up.
yeah, maybe not. I mean,
No, I did,
it's
and they were all
yeah.
nerds like me.
I mean, I mean, whenever I get the chance to go to New Zealand to see my dad's family or whatever, I will always watch Lord of the Rings on the plane because you're almost guaranteed to watch Lord of the Rings and then be in New Zealand when that movie finishes. So,
Yeah. But it's also like, yeah, like get you so hyped.
exactly, yeah, no,
Like watching Die Hard or Home Alone on Christmas Eve, like
yeah,
gets you in the spirit.
100%. No, I definitely understand that for sure. Okay, I think we'll finish up with obviously, you guys put out a new album, Postcards from Living Hell, which is sick. It was on like the ARIA charts, number 10 or something. That's insane. Like,
I know, we
wow.
like shat our pants. It was crazy because yeah, like we're completely independent, so we weren't
Yeah.
expecting it.
No,
And
no.
I guess it's just a testament to how freaking rad all our fans are that they bought the album and they liked it.
Yeah, no, exactly. No, it's so cool that like, it's getting so much like attention, so many plays and stuff. And even like I was looking at some of the music videos and stuff the other day. Like when you're a musician, you're growing up and you have songs and stuff. We always have ideas of like, things to put with our music to sort of like paint that picture of what we see it as and all the rest of it. How do you feel that you're like now at the point where you can really go in depth with that creative process of your music videos and really kind of bring out what you really want people to sort of see from it?
Yeah, funny question. Because Redhook are notorious among the videographer industry for being very disorganized, and so many of our music videos are literally shot like the week before the song comes out,
Right.
and like on minimum, like for minimum budget, and then me just like felt like, just I've got like an insanely talented mate who's a great videographer, and
Right.
he just, helps me out. He's like, shout out Kim, he's an absolute legend. But
Yeah.
he gets very stressed because I always like hit him up last minute. I'm like, yo, yeah, we're putting this song out
Yeah.
in like
Yeah.
2 weeks.
Can
Can we
you
do
give
a
me like a
music
really quick
video?
music video like
What?
now?
Yeah, but like I mean, but it like Imposter wasn't like that. And there's been a few videos that we've done that have been like a lot um we have been like a lot more organized for,
Right.
which is
Right.
lovely and really nice. And it's my New Year's resolution more than halfway through
Yeah.
2023 to do that from now on, be very
Yeah.
organized.
Oh, that's
But
incredible.
but yeah, it's great. It's great. I love like I wish that we could do videos for like all our singles. And maybe we will. I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's see what the
No,
feedback is like.
100%. Well, this has been absolutely amazing, Emmy. Again, I cannot thank you enough for like taking the time to chat to me today about all this sort of stuff. This is probably, I mean, I enjoy all the conversations I have with all my guests, but this has by far been one of my absolute favorites. Like, I haven't even seen
Oh,
the time
Peter,
go
my freaking
past.
heart.
The time's just come
Oh,
up on
thank
the
you.
screen.
Thank you for listening to me ramble for like 40 minutes.
No, it's been great. I've absolutely enjoyed it. No, thank you so much, Emmy. This has been so wonderful.